Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is having a wonderful and blessed day wherever you are in the world. And I'm going to talk about our great leaders that we've had over the years. I'm going to explain why they were assassinated. Every great leader we ever had was assassinated. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Malcolm X was assassinated. John F. Kennedy was assassinated, was murdered. Abraham Lincoln was murdered. The great Tupac was murdered. And 9 times out of 10, all of the Black Panthers were probably assassinated too. 9 times out of 10. And I'm gonna explain to you in this video. You're gonna hear me explain to you why the Black Panthers, Tupac, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Tupac were assassinated. The reason why Malcolm X was assassinated while Martin Luther King was assassinated is because Martin Luther King and Malcolm X both were wise beyond their years. Both were prophets. Both were great leaders of men and women in this country. That is a couple of the reasons why Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. were assassinated. Now, as far as the Black Panthers go, the reason why a lot of the Black Panthers are dead and a lot of the Black Panthers don't exist no more because the Black Panthers were wise beyond their years. And they were leaders, great leaders of men and women. And not only that, they were a threat to the establishment. That is why the Black Panthers were murdered. Tupac. One of the reasons, I'm not going to name all of the reasons why Tupac was assassinated because I already did like a 2 or 3 part video explaining why Tupac was murdered. But what I will say is this about Tupac. Tupac did an interview, right? And I'm sure most of you already saw it because Pac has millions of fans. Tupac had millions of fans worldwide. So I'm quite sure that most of you saw the Vibe interview. There was a part, right, in the Vibe interview where Tupac, he said that in an interview, a part of the interview where Tupac had said, if God give me breath for 20 more years, I see myself changing the world. And as soon as Pac said what he said in the Vibe interview, that if God give him breath for 20 more years, he should see himself changing the world. Soon as he said that, that made him a marked man by the establishment. That made him a marked man by the establishment. The moment he said if God give him breath for 20 more years, he see himself changing the world. And once the establishment, and when I say the establishment, I'm sure most of you know, that's watching this video, know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Illuminati, the powers that be, the Illuminati. Once they saw that, and you know they was watching that interview, and that was like 24 years ago, 24 or 25 years ago. So you know that when he said that interview, they was watching that interview, and you know they heard him say that. And once the Illuminati saw that nigga say that if God give him breath for 20 more years, he see himself changing the world. Once the Illuminati saw him say that, they had, and even if they ain't say it out loud, in their mind, they probably was thinking, oh no, we got to get this dude up out of here. We got to get this dude up out of here. You know they was thinking, once they heard him say that in the interview, they was like, oh no, we got to get this dude up out of here. We got to get him up out of here. He got to go. He got to go. I don't know where what day we going to kill this dude and get rid of this dude, but he got to go. We got to get him up out of here. Because if we don't get this dude up out of here, if we don't assassinate him, we don't murder him, he's going to be a problem. He is going to be a problem. He is going to be a threat to the establishment. And this dude has a positive effect on millions of males and females around the world. We got to get this dude up out of here. We got to kill him. So once they saw that, they got Tupac up out of here. They killed him. They killed him. It's not a coincidence that Tupac is dead and been dead for 25 years. He was murdered by the Illuminati. They got him up out of here. And anytime all of our great leaders were murdered. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that our great leader, Martin Luther King Jr., was assassinated. It's not a coincidence that our great leader, Malcolm X, was assassinated. It's not a coincidence that our great leaders, the Black Panthers, were assassinated. It's not a coincidence that our great leader Tupac was assassinated. Now, moving on. And oh, by the way, if you saw the phone shake at any point during this video, it's because I got my phone on my tripod standing on this table and I bumped into the table by accident. That's why the phone shook. But anyway, Abraham Lincoln, another great leader that we had in this country, that has had a positive impact on this country, that's an influence on this country, that stood for something. He freed the slaves. The African American men and women that were slaves decades ago, he freed the slaves. And you know, the white folks that worship the devil and don't like and Illuminati and don't like black people, you know they had a problem with this dude freeing African Americans that was under slavery, that was slaves. So once he did that, he ended slavery. The men and women ended the slavery days. You know they had a problem with that. And they was angry and infuriated that he freed the slaves. And once he did that, once Abraham Lincoln did that, he decided he was going to free the slaves, which he did, by the way. They killed him. They got him up out of here. That's not a coincidence that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. You really think it was a coincidence that Abraham Lincoln, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated? Hell no. The Illuminati killed him for freeing the slaves. Now, as far as the Black Panthers go, the Black Panthers were murdered because they were revolutionary and they were combating the government. That is why the Black Panthers were assassinated. John F. Kennedy, another one of our presidents. Just like Abraham Lincoln, he was a president of the United States at one point in this country too. John F. Kennedy, another great leader, murdered. And you want to know why our president, who was a great leader, John F. Kennedy, was murdered? I'll tell you why. John F. Kennedy was a threat to the establishment. And he was against the government. And he was planning on getting the government out of here. Combating the government and exposing these governments and getting the government up out of here. And ending the government. That is why they got him up out of here. And anytime you a great leader and you a prophet and you are wise beyond your years and you are a great leader of men and women and you are a threat to the establishment, they get you up out of here. And they don't care whether you're black, they don't care whether you're white, they don't care whether you're Puerto Rican, they don't care if you're Latino or Japanese or Chinese or Australian or French or Russian or British or Puerto Rican or Latino or any race, nationality, or ethnicity. They don't care what race, nationality, or ethnicity that you are. When you start being a prophet and being wise beyond your years and being a great leader of men and women and you a threat to the establishment, they get you up out of here. And they don't care about what race or nationality or ethnicity you are. Which is why a lot of our great leaders are no longer here. But it's because they are a threat to the establishment. I just had to make this video to explain to y'all that are subscribed to this YouTube channel, if you didn't know, why our great leaders all have been taken out and assassinated. I want to thank y'all for watching today's video and have a blessed day wherever you are in the world.